now that we got through that, I want to talk about. We got two more things. We got a review of a board game, and then we got story of the week. So, what do you guys want to do first?
So we got story.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's just talk about it.
So, story of the century
of the week.
Okay, so obviously some big news this week.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there was an election.
Huge news, David.
Okay, so
Huge.
we need to talk about this, and this show is not a political show. Obviously, we talk about Star Wars for the last 45 minutes.
Like
so,
the best board game election. Like
yeah, exactly.
We all
so
voted on. I don't
take
remember.
everything that we're going to say with a grain of salt. But I do want to say some stuff about the election. Obviously, Donald Trump was elected president of the United States.
Wait, that really happened?
That really? Can you imagine if you were in a coma for like 3 years?
Can I be in a coma for 3
No,
years?
stop it. But
4 years.
But do you know what I mean though? Like that would be nuts.
You wake up in 2016 where all these important celebrities have died. The Cubs win the World Series, and Donald Trump is
That should have
president.
been your first indication.
Yeah.
Cubs, yeah. So anyways, what I want to talk about is just my thoughts on all this. Obviously, you have a large segment of the population that is happy that they're the person they voted for was elected president. The other half is not happy, as there's obviously protests and things going on. My biggest thing here, because obviously there's a lot of people in this country that are either worried, upset, surprised, and I just want to say what my feelings are, and then a point of advice and maybe something to bring people up. Okay, so first things first.
Yeah, let's keep this positive.
Positive. That's what I want to do. So first thing, obviously, there's a lot of people who are scared, upset, frustrated, whatever that may be. The biggest advice I can give you, and we were talking about this earlier, is like make a difference in your community. And I know that sounds like the most like make a difference, like, but honestly, like little things. It doesn't have to be time. It could be money. Like donate to the ACLU, donate to your local school board, take some time to do something, like volunteer. Like it that stuff matters because like helping out in your world, being a good person is obviously number one. Just do that. Okay. Second, like
screw you, David.
help other people, and there's a million different ways that you can do that. And take the energy and the frustration and the things that and make actual change. And I know that sounds crazy because like the politicians, well, I'm going to change everything or whatever, but you can literally do it. Now, granted, you can't change the law unless you run for your state legislature, which if you want to do that, I encourage that as well too. But that's really what I wanted to say. But I do also want to say we have to talk to each other.
Well, that's what you were saying before. Like the other thing about doing something positive is just talking to, instead of yelling at these people who you may not agree with for who they voted for and stuff. Instead, just be like, "Why did you vote for them? Like, convince me, please." Because I'm in this America now too,
right? That
I don't necessarily agree with, but I'm totally open and willing to hear people, you know, say why they think it's a good idea.
Yeah, because I think we talked about this. This is again my opinion, my humble opinion. There was a vast majority of people who voted for Donald Trump, and despite all of the terrible things that he said about Muslims and Mexicans and all of the things that he said, they voted for him in spite of all that, because what is going on in their world, whatever economic disparity, not being able to have a good job that they can have pride in, or whatever the case may be, not being able to provide for their family when they used to, that creates a situation where people feel like this is the only decision that I can make. I can't continue down this path. It will not get better. I have to do something drastic.
And the reason why this thing was such a big surprise is because no one talked to those kind of people.
Right. And
so it came a big shock when all these people voted Trump, when no one expected that to happen because no one pulled those areas or something. It must have been some reason.
Right, no, but I'm saying that the situation, and also this is another part, is because the group of people that didn't vote for Trump or thought that was in the bag for Hillary Clinton and there was just no way Trump could win, their surprise and their frustration is only magnified by the fact that they didn't even prepare for this. I think a large group of people that were not in support of didn't support Donald Trump at no point in their mind ever actually thought what we're living right now could happen. Nope. And because of that, because you didn't prepare yourself for that,
you're cocky.
Well, not just even the cocky, just we have to talk to each other. Like Thanksgiving's coming up, holidays are coming up. I guarantee everybody in there.
You're going to be fighting anyway. Come on.
I know, but the point is like we literally have to talk to each other and find out what's going on in other people's lives. Because if we just literally go back to our corners, it ain't going to get better.
And not only that, but like the decision has been made. What are you gonna? I mean, I don't know. Electoral college can still vote for somebody else if they want to do. I
suppose.
Wouldn't that be crazy? Right?
That would be nuts. But
way to end this year.
Also, crazier. Like anything can happen. Like if you want to do something in your life, I'm pretty sure it's possible at this point. Like it's incredibly possible to do anything.
Well, yeah, you can be the president with zero experience, of course.
Well, no, but I mean, just generally, like we have to be prepared for everything.
Yeah.
Like so.
But there's no point getting butthurt and protesting and stuff about it.
No, I don't.
The people have decided, not the popular people, but like the electoral
system
college
that was put into place of how we vote
has decided it is what it is. We're with this decision for how many 4 years or whatever. Let's just deal with it together. Talk to each other that you may maybe not agree with. See their side of things. Maybe you can let them
and have a
know
real
your side of
discussion.
things
Talk
and have a
about
real
discussion. Because honestly, I truly believe this, and I know politicians say this all the time. But the actual 99% of the people in the bottom 99, not the top 1% of the 1%, whatever. I'm doing the Bernie Sanders thing, but I honestly think most people fundamentally agree on a number of really important issues. Like we want everyone to have a good job. I don't know anybody who goes, you know what? I don't want people to have a good job.
Yeah.
Nobody is arguing for that. So but how do we get there? Right? That's where the rubber meets the road. We can talk about that. But to sit there and call people oh, well, you just don't want to give anybody a good job. No, that can't be the argument. That's why we got to talk. Things like, what are we going to do about, there's a number of issues, but I'm just we got to talk to each other. Cause if we don't, and we don't figure out why people voted for Trump in spite of all the things that he said, here's where I'm getting at. If one side says, "Hey, since you voted for Trump, you're a racist, xenophobe, bigot, whatever
which
you want
is
to
wrong.
say." Well,
don't do that.
There's certainly, I'm sure there's a percentage of people that did vote because of that.
Well,
but
I'm sure there are a bunch of racists and sexists that voted for Hillary too. It doesn't matter.
Right,
but,
and that's my point. And
yeah.
but the other side can't say who voted for Trump to say, I get to walk away from all of that at the same time. I get to wipe my hands clean of the fact I just voted. You don't get to, I always say this, you don't get to vote with a paragraph. You get to vote with a check mark. And the problem is that it's hard for people, unless you talk, you cannot find out what they implicitly endorsed or did not endorse of that candidate. That's why we have to talk.
Right.
And really, in reality,
you just assume what the media tells you. You assume that everyone who voted for Trump are bigots and racists.
Right. And then the other way, and the other side can't say, well, it's wrong for you to assume that.
Right.
Right. You can't. You both have to talk. I guarantee it's clearly somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Like
you said, they saw Trump supporters and stuff saw past all those negative things he said for a very good reason. What those reasons are,
we got to find out.
That's a super good question. I really want to know, people. Please tell me.
No, and that's my point. Whether it's, like I said, economic disparity. But
they should email you. Because they get money for that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sitdowncenter@gmail.com. If we pick your email, we'll give you $5.
No, seriously.
Convince me why you voted for Trump, please.
And again, I think for me, the question to ask is, how did we get to a point and everybody, and some of the lowest approval ratings of any, I don't think anybody's going to argue that there's a huge, even people who voted for him don't think he's qualified or don't think he has the temperament or don't think that he's popular, right? He's the most unpopular candidate that we've ever voted as president. That's a fact. You can debate me on that if you want, but people still voted for him. So the reality is that a situation occurred in this country, economic, socioeconomic, whatever it may be, that put people in a position to make that decision despite of all the things that he said.
Right.
And the question to ask is, how do we fix that situation, or how do we make that person's life better? Because like I said, they made that decision in spite of all the things that he said. And
Exactly.
not everybody who voted for him. I think the vast majority of people that voted for him are not a bigot and are not racist but again, you don't get to vote. So the others, with a paragraph, you get to vote with a check mark. So the other side has to
sees you as those things, sees you as someone who supports those kind of comments, when you could say, no, I don't like any of that stuff he said, but I support X, Y, and Z.
Right. And
again, please tell me what X, Y, and Z are so I can understand.
Right. But the other point is that the people that, and I keep reiterating this, the other side who did vote for it can't just say it's easy. You should just see it that way. It's like, well, no, we got to talk.
Yeah.
That's honestly what it is. It's super, it's the most simple, and we just got to talk to each other. We can't yell at each other. We can't flip out, and we can educate each other on our views and our opinions, and then we can talk about it. Because I guarantee most people agree on most things. Honestly, it's just how we get there, and there's compromise. Most people understand compromise. I don't get everything I want. If I would want a solid gold toilet, but it's just not in the cards. The point is that's really what it is. But I just want to
talk to your friends, talk to your family members. I don't know if you should really talk to your coworkers at work about that kind of stuff, but just talk to people that you normally wouldn't talk to because of this, because there's no point staying divided. Listen, California, you're not going anywhere. Don't be crazy. We're all in this together for the next 4 years, so let's just do it together somewhat,
And again,
through this.
like our podcast obviously is not a political podcast, but like we want to talk about it. We want to have a conversation because like I'm positive that talking helps things. Like honestly. So anything else?
That was fun.
Yeah. I think the one thing we should learn about this, like we need to stop making the campaign season so long. Like let's do it like I'm cool with like 4 months.
It's exhausting, right?
Well, no, like I was reading the news scroll like on my iPhone, and it was like breathing techniques to get through the election. I'm like, oh my god, like why? Like we need to chill out. Like I get it, but it's just we need to chill out. We need to give it 4 months is a long time. You know how many podcasts we do in 4 months? We talk about a ton of crap. Like we don't need a year and a half of campaigning. So that's what I think we should change. I think everyone would agree on that, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
99.9% of the population would agree that the campaign season is too long. Okay, now that we got that out of the way.
What a year.
Wasn't there a game we played recently?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that. Oh. We reviewed a game. Let's end on a very exciting. Let's go to Mars. Elon
Let's
Musk.
do it.
This week we are reviewing, for our standard review, the board game Mission Red Planet.